It's a trap, you walked right into the hate. All over a new king that's face is just replaced. It's all the same, you still be ruled by force. And no matter who it is, they'll still carry on the torch. Just a lie, cheat, and steal, half of what you make. Taxation is theft, it's time to vacate the state. Newsflash, all your cash is an IOU. From killers who really do steal from you. Inflation is a weapon used by every nation who says that they're saving the world through lies. That they disguise and pass off as bravery. Well, I got news, debt is slavery. It don't matter who's madder, a new master don't matter. When they both want the same, the state don't play no games. They got you trying to survive and put you on sides and ready to kill each other. That's conquer and divide. It's all for show, or for hyper control.
That's back-to-back three-way boys.
And we're back with another episode of Buns and Tubs. We're here with on this snowy Tuesday in Ohio. Here to give you all the news that you want to hear. It's very cold out, but it is reasonable in the studio because I did preemptively come in here and bring in a space heater and warm it up, you know.
I hope everybody got enough milk and bread for the snowstorm.
No shit.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out basic white bitches.
I saw a funny video earlier where a guy's like getting out of his truck and he's screaming. He's like, I got the milk and bread and pop. I got the milk and bread and pop. I guess, I don't know. I do keto, so the milk and bread thing wouldn't work for me anymore. I guess
I got the bacon.
I got the bacon.
Yeah.
I got the meats and the cheeses.
Hopefully, wherever
do it.
everybody else is listening from, it's warm. I was talking to somebody on Snapchat yesterday. They're like, "What's up, bro?" I was like, "Oh, you know, just it's fucking 19 degrees here, cold as shit. The front of my car's frozen just from driving home. It was like 40 yesterday." He's like, "It's 80 degrees here, man. Sucks to be you." Yes.
Why don't you go fuck yourself?
Well, no, fuck me for living in Ohio.
Okay, true. You know, it's like this morning. You know that service for that one company that has a mouse as its sponsor started today.
Yeah.
And I already planned on getting it because I knew my son was about that life. Hot dog. You know,
Yeah, this episode just got removed.
But so we got the service this morning, and I believe my son might have been the luckiest kid in town this morning because all the other local schools closed.
Yeah.
Except for the one that he goes to.
The most unluckiest kid in the village.
The unluckiest boy in the history of boys.
He said luckiest.
You're gonna have to cut this out. I gotta answer this.
Mom.
Hello?
Hey guys on the live stream.
Hey, what's up, Mom? I'm in the middle of a podcast episode.
Mom, the meatloaf. Fuck.
Do people watch your live stream a lot?
You should put her on speakerphone.
Okay. Who says hi to everybody?
Hi, Mom.
Oh, hi.
Hi, you little shit.
As soon as that heater got turned off,
can I give you a call
your nipples
after I get done?
It?
No, I got this nice sweater on.
All right, I'll talk to you in a bit.
My nipples warm.
Man.
All right, see you later. Love you.
Tell that little shit he needs to get his goddamn life together.
I wonder what she needed. Anyways, he had to be the most unlucky kid in the area because he was the only one that had to go to school this morning. When the Disney Plus service,
oh my god,
when the service with the mouse as a mascot started this morning.
Let me tell you real quick how serious YouTube takes that shit, right?
Well, that's why I had to edit myself.
You know, we've taken out we've used music before.
Mm-hmm.
We've used shit that we didn't have any right using.
Yeah.
And they were like, hey, we're going to give all the money if this episode gets to this guy because that's his shit. Fair. Mm-hmm. I get it. I used it without permission. They just I took a 1minute and 28-second clip of Simon Game Clubhouse, right? Mm-hmm. It was green, and somehow that's cracked to a 2-year-old. Mm-hmm. He wanted to watch it over and over and over again, and I got tired of hitting the replay, so I was like, fuck it. I'll rip it. I'll make it a 25-minute video and hit play. Mm-hmm. It wasn't up for fucking an hour before YouTube was like, removed. No option to give the give him the money.
The mouse must feed.
Are you allowed to say that guy's name who is trying to be the so-called whistleblower without getting removed?
Man, fuck that dude. I don't know.
I don't even know his name, but I heard that you can't.
But this morning, I loaded the service, and he saw what it was and saw all the things that came with it.
Have fun at school, James.
Yeah, and he's like, oh my. And I was like, well, time to go to school, son.
Dad's going to sit here and watch the mouse mascot
all day. Fucking day.
Yeah, so that's what I've done so far today other than doing show research, you know. Just watching my life away.
Yeah, a little housekeeping here.
Okay, let's go with it then.
Let's see. I never put this in the beginning, so I'm going to try to do it this week. Mm-hmm. If it's your first time listening, hey, hello.
How you doing?
This is the Bones and Tubbs podcast. I'm Bones.
I'm Tubbs.
That's Tubbs. This is the doctor. Dr. Doug Hurdy.
Yeah.
Say hi to the eyes. They're watching you. Bones and Tubs podcast can be found on every podcast app that I'm aware of. If we missed one, let me know. bonesandtubs@gmail.com. Last week, we just started, have you heard of this app called Library? It's a crypto.
Tell me more.
Crypto YouTube. I believe it to be the death nail of YouTube.
It is like, is it kind of like a BitChute type thing?
It's more user-friendly, and it uploads super fucking quick. It's LBRY.
Library?
Library, LBRY. If you just lbry.com, it'll pull it up on whatever you're looking at. And it's pretty sweet. Check it out. They're not a sponsor. I just fucking hate YouTube.
That, and they don't censor people's content.
Yeah,
either.
it's zero censorship. Like, I was going through cat videos, the one that everyone's seen with the cat fighting with lightsabers.
Uh-huh.
And then it was porn, you know.
Oh, okay.
That's fine.
That's awesome.
America.
Yeah.
And instead of, like, the whole
So
likes.
it's like X and XX and YouTube merged.
Right. And with crypto, you know.
Yeah.
Let's see. Yeah, when you like shit, though, you're giving them a tip of the crypto. And you gain crypto by watching things and doing other challenges and shit.
Do you have to have crypto to like something?
The wallet's in the app.
Yeah. Not a sponsor, but a great new app that everybody should try out.
If you hate YouTube, if you hate censorship, check out Library, lbry.com. Not a sponsor.
Definitely.
We're also on DLive, but we can't use it because we don't have a computer out here. And until we get 1,000 followers, we can't upload videos. So that's another possible nail in the censor-tastic, coccidal nonsense of YouTube.
Yeah.
Check it out and follow us on there. Maybe eventually we'll be using that instead of this Instagram shit.
There you go.
I'm all about killing the machine. I don't know if you... I think you know that.
Would you say you rage against the machine?
Yeah. Kill it in the name of... But for now, we are on Instagram, instagram.com/bonesandtubs, facebook.com/bonesandtubs, YouTube at Bones and Tubs Show, Twitter at Bones Tubs. Sound of paperwork hitting the floor. We started doing this printout so I could be like I'm Alex Jones. Like, here are the documents!
Yeah, right. And then you have to have like a camera from down, like a document cam.
Yeah.
Like, look, get the document cam on here now. Look at it. Look at it.
Motherfucker got a over-the-desk view, too. Like, how? First of all, who's holding that?
Right.
You know, and secondly, you've got 48 stacks.
And you have to constantly talk about a bombshell that you have. I have this new bombshell.
You
bombshell.
never have the one you need, too. Somebody, you're like, I'll send it to you. Go check the printer. Like, somebody out
the
there.
Bombshell.
Some
We got some bombshell information here. Go check the
some
printer.
goddamn intern that he hired from Mexico that's not even a citizen shitting his pants because he knows he's going to lose his job. Anyway, if you want to support the Bones and Tubs podcast, feel free to head over to patreon.com/Bones and Tubs. Or if you're more of a one-night hitter, you know, shout out Johnny Tong. For that one-time experience, you can hit us up on PayPal, Venmo, and Cash App. $Bones and Tubs. And this week's call to action, because it's very important to leverage the nation of the Bones and Tubs.
Yeah.
Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Epstein didn't kill himself.
Got to keep it going.
I also we kind of started this trend. I don't know. What are you doing in there? You eating candy?
You got a mouse in here.
I couldn't remember what the other trend that we started was, but I remember just now the NPC meme.
Yeah.
I feel like we started that.
Trendsetters.
I said we kind of started this trend that you see going around everywhere. Either that or we're psychic and we start talking about it just as everyone else did, but we were first. Check the timestamp. And that's it. That's all I got until we move on to the topic.
Okay, boomer. I wanted to actually address that this week. I want to get your guys' input on that whole thing because it's something that's been blown up.
It's all over fucking Reddit if you get on there, which is like a fucking...
Well, what seems to be is there's a matter of confusion about
It's
what
gross.
because here's the thing, like, but people are saying is like the people who are using this insult, they're saying that boomer is a state of mind, not a generation.
Really? Because you're using a generation.
Well, see, that's the thing though, because like people are getting hit with it who are definitely not boomers, like they're Gen Xers or older millennials or what I like to call what we are Zennials.
Or people that aren't leftists.
We're not quite. I don't like to group myself with millennials.
It's weird that we're in that group anyway because we grew up in the best time to be alive. Really, unless you're talking about the 20s, the roaring 20s,
but
flappers and what have you.
But yeah, so now they're saying that being a boomer is more just a state of mind than an actual like because they say that even if you're a Gen X or a millennial, you've internalized the boomer mentality into your life.
Kind of like the way someone might
So you've become an
internalize
adult
a dick.
and you have gained responsibility? Is that what they're saying?
I think that's what it is. Yeah, like you have to work for a living.
Right.
I always thought that the okay boomer shit was like blaming. You always see those memes of talking about how like a boomer in air quotes is talking shit to their kid about how they fucked the world up and like really because you're the one that fucked everything. And they list off all the financial things that they fucked. It's Is that what that is, or am I off?
It's that's basically what it is. Like, take it from the perspective. Imagine, if you will.
Okay, boomer.
I'm a Gen Z teenager, right?
I identify as a Gen Z.
Okay, I'm a Gen Z teenager, right?
Okay.
And
Be they them?
There.
And
Zim.
you know, you're constantly bombarded with the notions that the Earth is dying with I can't even talk, with climate change.
The flattest fuck.
I almost called it global warming, but I forgot they changed the name of it.
Yeah, for the
climate
third or fourth time.
Yeah.
Who's counting though?
Okay, boomer. But they they get bombarded with that shit, and the whole notion of like that we live in this fucking dystopic oligarchy where like rich people rule us, which is true, and they more or less blame it on the generations that came before them, even though like this shit's been going on way longer than baby boomers have been around.
Listen, I'm not going to make a call to violence, but I will say that anybody can cut a head off.
I mean, if that's what you're going for. I mean,
just saying, if you want it to stop, it could have stopped with your parents. You can blame your parents, or I mean, you could have stopped it.
I think
look at what they accomplished with box cutters on 9/11.
Oh man,
see,
you really got to edit that out.
We should bring back the like French Revolution to cut everyone's fucking head off.
Here's the thing, though, with the whole boomer thing is that baby boomers have as little to do with this as any other generation for the most part. It really has nothing to do with a generation as a whole. It has to do with the powers that be, whether it doesn't matter what generation they come from. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, there's fucking, look at George Soros. He's not a baby boomer. He's older than that.
He's not even human.
And he's a fucking piece of shit.
Yeah, he's a fucking
piece of shit. Son of a bitch.
Goddamn son of a bitch.
What's the boomer range?
It's like 1944, 45 to 1970.
You just triggered me. I was thinking Hitler all the way, you know? Insert ugly girl getting triggered.
Because I think, I want to say, well, it might be earlier than 70 because Gen X is like,
I thought it was
Gen X goes to like,
70s or
Gen X
something.
goes to like to 1979 or something like that.
Gotcha.
Man, I thought Gen Xer was like fucking 90s. What's that?
No. Gen Xers are in their 40s.
Right.
Okay,
So,
yeah. I'm thinking of
Anybody born before 1980 is a Gen Xer.
that was dumb. I was
like
thinking of
81
not a
or
boomer.
something like
being
that,
like a
right?
teenager in the 90s.
Everybody born after 1981, I think, is considered a millennial.
It's kind of weird because
crazy.
like we're considered millennials, but then like my brother who was born in '96 is also a millennial, and he's kind of a tool.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So are all his friends. You know?
It's like they had a schism that happened.
Well, that's why
through
they call us, for the most part, those who were born, like, because here's the thing, it's like you said, your brother was born in 1996, right?
12 years after me.
Yeah, exactly. I was born
Totally not.
I was
the
born
same
in the
generation.
80s. So were you, and so were you, right?
I mean, generation from like a
That's why
parental standpoint, I
Yeah,
guess.
that's why they call us Zennials, because we're on the cusp between, we're more Gen X than we are millennial.
I get it.
But we are like in the millennial stage because we did actually have the internet as we were growing up, unlike the Gen X.
But we were like, our
At the very
our
beginning.
entire early years, our most like impressionable years were spent without the internet.
I mean, like,
You know what I mean?
raise your hand if you jerked off with AOL or Syscom dial-up, you know? I mean,
I can't raise my hand on that one. We
really?
didn't have- we didn't have,
Whitehouse.com?
Come on, dude.
NASA.com?
I used to hit up that Playboy site on the regular whenever we first got the internet.
You had that slow loading page, you got down to the
Yeah.
nipple, and you're
Listen,
like, all right,
we
fuck
didn't
it.
have the
That was
internet.
back when the Playboy site used to be like something you could go to
We had DSL, like,
without
we didn't
having
get
to
it
have
until
a
like
password and shit. It was
2003.
Damn. Well,
Yeah.
I'm talking about dial-up. Do you know dial-up?
We didn't have dial up. We went from nothing to DSL.
great. Listen, I got caught by fucking Best Buy for looking at porn when I was like
Wait, I remember this. I
13 or
remember
14.
this.
It was like 97,
Didn't your
97,
mom take the
98.
computer to get it fixed or something?
Yeah, because it got a fucking virus on it.
Snitching
I took it to Best
motherfucker.
Buy. And
That's crazy.
No
know,
honor among
that was
fucking
back in the
computer
day
techs,
where
you know?
where you
I'm
would
gonna
take
tell
your-
on this kid.
where you would take your computer like to Best Buy and they would like fix it and you just walk around a store for an hour or so.
You're downloading shit on
Well,
LimeWire.
I'm pretty
like-
sure I remember Adam doing that shit too when he worked for that computer
Right.
store and like basically ratting on people for fucking
Yeah.
looking up porno and shit. But like,
Whenever they called us up to get our computer, I remember distinctly that guy was like, I have to tell you this because there's people under the age of 18 in your house.
Because I'm a fucking
And I was
lame.
like, oh my fucking God. No, please don't. And he did. He snitched me out, man.
Skeeter was like, it was gay porn, wasn't it?
He snitched me out, dude. He got all my,
no.
all my Ask Jeeves searches and everything.
oh
Man.
no,
Shout out Ask Jeeves. You know?
that's terrible.
I don't know where that dude is right now, but I hope he's dead.
I mean, I already have a oral agreement with Toe Beans that when I shed the mortal coil, destroy all of my technology.
She will as soon as she looks at it.
Like, you need to get one of those heavy electromagnets and just rub it all over my shit. Like, wipe the fucking, blast the cache and wipe the hard drives, man. You don't want to know what kind of questions I've been asking.
Right.
Oh, my God.
Man.
My internet search history is...
You know, once we opened that Pandora's box, it was over with, wasn't it? You know?
No shit.
It escalated. The whole thing, once the internet came around, it really escalated quickly, you know, like...
Man.
Oh.
Shit started getting weird.
Super quick.
But I feel like, here's the thing, like...
YouTube 365.
Because we have perspective. We can remember at its emergence, right?
Yeah.
We remember it at its emergence.
Totally.
So I feel like, in a way, because there's an internet culture, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like it's still considered chaotic because internet culture is still young. There isn't established boundaries and rules yet.
I wonder if
for how to maintain yourself online.
I wonder if the schism
properly.
You think the schism happened with the advent of like being born before the internet or being born after the internet was already a thing?
Oh, there's a schism there. You know what I mean? Because like I think people from like me personally, I miss when I didn't have a cell phone.
Yeah, for sure.
And I could like be
disappear.
like, hey, I'm going somewhere.
Going to the store.
And I'm going to be gone for multiple hours.
Yeah.
And then I'll return.
Then you disappeared into the ether.
Right.
Yeah.
Once your car went around the corner, it was over with.
Or like I would just show up at your house and
Exactly.
knock on the door and be like, is Jay home?
Yeah.
Whenever I like first got my license and shit.
Exactly.
Shout out to riding bikes up the street.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Now you're just like...
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
and
know.
it's got to the point now where like using your phone as a phone
he's not home,
is
so
kind
now
of
you just-
like hardly used anymore. Most people just text each other.
I treat phone calls the same way I treat it when people knock on my door.
Well, they said that like imagine how hard it is for serial killers now because like nobody answered their door anymore.
Ain't nobody stopping for your bitch
Because
ass
God knows
either.
if someone knocks on my door and I did not get a text about somebody arriving, I'm not answering that fucking door.
Who the
Sorry.
fuck is this?
You know?
Well,
I usually like peek my head out the window and like,
hey.
yeah,
I feel like we summoned you here this week due to the amount of work stories we told about you.
good.
We were in the factory hollering at people who've never seen you. People that are watching you right now, probably on that phone. Definitely on that GoPro.
I don't miss it.
Yeah.
I was
for
telling
real.
them. I was telling
I
them
mean,
lots
I
of
do
stories.
kind of. I still miss it. I'll be real. Like I
You
think
probably
about,
just missed the ability to kick it.
I think about going back there all the time.
Nah, don't do it.
No.
Nope.
All the time. Like especially like when I graduated in May and I had a hard time like getting a legitimate job there for the first few months, and I was like, I'm going back to the fucking Brazil.
Nah.
You know, I even went as far as
Can't
to
say
apply
that
for a
word.
job.
Factory.
Cut it out.
I will. I'm just letting them know. Future reference.
Gotcha.
Less,
Sorry.
less cutting involved at 12 a.m., you know?
I even like I don't know if I can say this either.
Say what you
I
want. Fuck
applied
it. I'll
for
cut it out.
Okay.
and I even got like an email back because I had a degree. They wanted like a 4-year degree and experience, and I was like, "Gotcha, bitch."
Finally.
Hey, guess what I got?
Finally, this
They
motherfucker
fucking
came
emailed me
through.
back and like they wanted me to come in for an interview and everything, and it was $24 an hour, and I was like, man,
Okay, then.
I really like contemplated going in,
Yeah, I'm glad you didn't, though.
but I decided it'd be kind of stepping back instead of going forward. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, I think you'd want to ultimately reduce the likelihood of knocking on someone's door and getting shot in the face.
Yeah.
Right. I
know?
don't want to be like, what's his
Right.
name?
So,
I mean,
I'm going to talk about that real quick, and then we should probably get on the story.
Yeah.
Or the topic, rather.
speaking of
The drug
shooting
raid?
people in the face.
That detective that died this week in Dayton, serving a drug warrant. I was having a conversation. Somebody was like, "Isn't that terrible?" I was like, "No."
Uh-oh, did they Agent Smith?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
See, but it's someone I never expect. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, don't throw them out
I'm not
there.
gonna disrespect anybody. But they asked me, like, "Isn't that terrible? He got shot in the face," and I was like, "No, it's not. What was he doing?" Like, he was serving a drug warrant, and I laughed. Like, wait, he had kids. Okay, he's a fucking idiot. Like, you're going after people for a victimless crime.
Well, let's divorce ourselves from that for a moment. Like, I get it's sad because somebody died, right?
Right.
It is. It's
But
very
the-
sad.
but here's the
he might have
thing.
been a good person.
He probably,
I'm sure he was to some extent.
but here's the thing, though.
A-cab.
At least he thought he was a good person.
It's not that it's not like it's something that happened out of the ordinary, though. The guy went to somebody's property, and whether warrant or not, he attempted to enter the home.
He didn't just attempt. He did.
You have to when you're in that field, you have to accept there is a certain amount of danger that is involved with doing something like
At
that.
this point, you're a gunslinger. You know, you live by the gun, you die by the gun.
Listen, if they would just make guns or if they just make drugs legal,
Right.
then
I said the same thing. It's the government's fault that dude got shot in the
first
head.
off, he wouldn't have been
They
going.
made him serve that warrant.
If drugs were illegal, he wouldn't be going there to serve a warrant to begin
People
with.
who aren't aware of the story.
And not only that, dude wouldn't even be like slinging dope as it was because there was no money to be made on it.
Right.
So like ultimately, it's the government's fault.
They had a search warrant for a property somewhere in Dayton for a fentanyl bust. And they always put these stories in the news about fentanyl was found in this bust that killed 2 million people. Well, that's because you have a drug that was meant to be like the next thing, right?
Yeah.
It's super powerful. And because we have the drug war, people are putting this shit in everything. They're putting it in weed. They're putting it in meth. They're putting it in fucking oxycodone.
The ability to kill X amount of people with something doesn't really negate you being proud of it because, like, hypothetically, I could go over to Ace Hardware, not a sponsor, and get, buy $100 worth of fucking rat poison and kill a lot of fucking people with that.
Right. But I mean,
I can
what
go
I'm
to the
saying
gas
is,
station and get enough
That doesn't
If
fucking
we had-
gasoline to kill
if
2 million
drugs-
people.
Yeah.
if drugs were legal and you could go to a store and buy them the same way, with marijuana right now, you wouldn't have to worry about a quality issue of somebody slipping some fucking fentanyl in your shit.
Or black market.
Right. You created this market with your fucking
crime,
silly
I
ass
mean-
laws. I thought we learned this with the whole
In the Roaring 20s.
prohibition. Back to
the Roaring 20s.
Shout out Kennedy.
Yeah.
No, we didn't.
But anyway, I feel bad for his kids. I feel bad for his wife. I don't feel bad for him.
Well, and that's the thing, maybe, is the reason for these prohibitions is because, politicians, I assume, are smart enough to know that it creates a black market, right? But they also get their palms greased
Oh,
for
greasy.
keeping it a black market. But they also keep their hands clean. Well, as far as the public's concerned,
Wasn't
because
me.
they say we didn't perpetrate it by saying that it's okay. We said it was wrong and it's illegal, but at the same time getting money for it on the side, right?
Yeah.
So like to their voters, they're like, listen, I'm clean. Fuck those drug dealers and fuck, you know what I mean? Because like the moral sentiment when it comes to these drugs is that they're terrible, and that's to an extent very true. Heroin, fentanyl, meth, all those things are fucking terrible.
We can even
proven
say
in
that
our
the drug
show.
dealers themselves are terrible. I mean, we know they're
Because,
terrible.
well, what it is they don't want to put themselves in bed like how they put themselves in bed with, say, pharmaceutical companies, where now they're having to really backtrack because that one family that owns Oxycontin is getting the shit suit out of them basically for starting the opioid crisis.
Right.
Fuck them.
And yeah, fuck them for real.
Yeah,
because they fucking they were shoving that shit down America's throat for way too long, without making hand over fist doing it.
We just need a purge for real.
So
Shout
I
out
don't have anything
purge.
for them. Yeah. So you want to get on to the topics?
Yep, let's do it.
Well, what do we want to talk about today? How did you come about this? Just
It was the Muse.
the Muse told
The
you?
Muse hit me. The episode's going to be titled "What Happens When I Die."
What happens when you die?
Yeah, that's better. What happens when you die?
Could you put some spacey music in there? Yeah. So we did the research and just looked over a series of different religions.
Basically, there's over 4,200 religions.
I'm not surprised by that, but we handpicked a few that we liked in general.
We picked 5 or 6 each
Yeah.
because we're one show.
Because we're just curious. And mind you, I don't think either of us picked Christianity in general.
No.
Well, specifically like the broadest sense of Christianity, because there's definitely a Christian denomination on my research,
Yeah, there's 1 or 2 on mine also.
but not Christianity in general, or Islam, or Judaism for that matter. Because as far as we're concerned, anybody out there worth their salt should already kind of know what their belief system is when it comes to the afterlife.
I'm going to make a quick statement and see if you agree or disagree, but Christianity is Judaism light.
Well, they're all part of the same thing, so
They're all like Abrahamic religion.
You ever see that meme I posted that had like people cheating on each other's tests? And it started with like Islam looking over at Christianity, and Christianity was looking at Judaism, and Judaism was looking at like paganism.
or
yeah.
Hinduism, or
Right.
But
it was looking at something else, or who knows? I mean,
'Cause the
Just
thing is, like,
they're rebranding the control
they're
system.
really one of the only three that involve the notions of like a heaven or a hell, for that
Yeah,
matter.
right.
From what I've gathered, I mean, there's probably more, but from the ones I've studied, they don't like really prescribe to that. There's different belief systems when it comes to that,
Yeah.
because like Christians believe in heaven and hell, Muslims believe in heaven and hell, and Jews, their heaven and hell it's more like it's less two separate places, but more the same place, but it's a matter of distance.
you're going to hell.
Like Jews believe heaven is closeness to God,
Yeah.
right? Hell is
But what is
distance from God. The distance between you and God is what their hell is, and the closeness that you two share is your heaven.
Right.
right? So they're not two places; they're just one place. But it's about being close to God.
For sure.
Still in its way, its own heaven and hell. What's that?
What is God?
Man, that's a question for another day. You did the Gnostics, didn't you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's a good question about what's God.
The Gnostics are about the closest I come.
I actually found a couple that I shared some like.
I feel like even with
feeling
you did a lot of Eastern religions, right?
A million different answers.
I pushed more Eastern, but I did do one Western. I
used to have a real attraction to like Eastern religion, but I think the older I got, the more I tended towards Gnosticism.
Eastern religions like Buddhism and
I did
Hinduism and what have you.
Okay, so we just want to go through them.
Yeah, you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. So.
Right.
I didn't do any research, but I'm sure I can babble on about it.
Well, because I remember me and you have talked about it a bunch already because you took that.
I took a couple of religion classes, so I kind of, I guess,
So the first one
well-versed.
Yeah, the first one I looked into was Sikhism, which,
that's pretty cool.
Man, listen, that one, pretty cool. That's top notch. If there was if I wanted to join some sort of religion, Sikhism would probably be higher up on the list.
Let's go to that one down in Taylorsville, man. They give you free food if you go in there and hang out with them.
Hell yeah! Well, that's if I wanted to. I don't. You know what I mean? But their system of belief is.
There's that Sikh up here that runs a gas station by the IP. He's pretty cool.
But it's based on the scriptures of Guru Granth Sahib, right? Yeah. And they're in the broadest sense monotheistic.
You could say that they are like a mixture between like Islam and Hinduism, but they kind of say that they're not.
But their faith includes meditation on the name of the one creator, right? So that's a thing that you keep seeing in a lot of religions, is the notion of contemplating the name of the one.
Yeah.
Right?
In the meditation, you mean?
Yes.
Okay.
Divine unity and equality of all humankind, engaging in selfless service, striving for justice for the benefit and prosperity of all, and honest conduct and livelihood while living in a householder's life.
I like to think they capitalize the A in all.
They also get to carry a knife with them wherever they go.
Yeah, listen, Sikhs are fucking cool. Like, and the shitty part is they, like, by some people, they get mistaken for Muslims because, you know, they come from that same part of the world.
And they're wearing the head
and they wear headgear all the time. So, like, people think that they're Muslim, but they're like, Sikhs are super peaceful for the most part.
It's probably our slow Western brain, like, it looks like a Muslim.
They're really rational. Exactly. And the thing is, so basically what I gathered from Sikhism is that they believe that over time, God has made himself manifest in individuals, like prophets. Like in Christianity, we would call them prophets, right?
Right.
Divine individuals who are there to give the word of God, right?
Yeah.
To give people what he believes, right?
Okay, then.
I mean, they even include Jesus Christ in their stuff because they believe he was one of those people who God spoke through.
Shout out JC, you know?
Yeah. So basically, what they believe when it comes to death is that when you die, you don't really have an individual soul per se. You merge back into the collective.
So it's you're part of the divine spark, basically.
Yeah, they say, I think what I read was, just as a drop of rain merges back into the ocean.
I like that.
Only
an Eastern religion can talk that way, you know?
Yeah, they basically say individually is lost. There's no heaven or hell.
Eastern religion's got that juice when it comes to verbal judo.
Any notion of like what heaven is about your closeness to God while you're alive.
Yeah.
So it has nothing to do with what you do after you die. It's about you're trying to be as good a person as you can be while you walk this earth.
Word.
Okay.
Which, like I said, that shit I dig.
People are going to notice a lot of parallels in these things.
Yeah.
Because I've noticed a lot already. Mm-hmm. Was there anything else on the Sikhs?
No, I'm done with the Sikhs.
Okay, my first one I did was the Egyptian belief. Out of Kemet, you know, the word alchemy. Mm-hmm. Al-Kemet, out of the dark land, Egypt. Their afterlife belief is that of Duat.
Duat?
Yeah. The perilous journey. The ancient Egyptians, the seat of all knowledge. You know, everybody, at least I know Christianity, I think Abraham was a part of Judaism also, right?
Oh, yeah. That's what they call them, the Abrahamic religions.
Okay, so the Abrahamic religions, like, they all have stories of people being sent to Al-Kemet, or Egypt, to learn from Hermes. Time, the prevailing belief was upon shedding the mortal coil and all of the mortal worries that accompany a mortal's life, the soul's troubles are not quite at an end just yet. According to the ancient texts, the soul is sent to an underground or lower vibrational world called Duat, where you embark upon a journey that is rife with peril. The Egyptian Book of the Dead offers some guidance into how one is to overcome these afterlife struggles, as are quite a few of the more ancient texts.
I've heard of this before.
It's neat too because it's in a lot of our Western secret societies.
Yeah.
A lot of people say that the 3 degrees of masonry are all going through the Book of the Dead.
Okay.
So that you know how to navigate the afterlife.
You can smoke one of those.
Suck it.
There you go.
Let's see, huh?
I appreciate you.
I always find it interesting when similar time periods produce a similar idea half a world away. Because you see it everywhere.
Yeah.
It's also interesting to me that I've read and been told that some of the initiatory rites of Freemasonry, as well as a couple of other secret societies, are in essence teaching you how to navigate the ancient rite of passage into the next life. At the end of this harrowing journey, your heart or conscience or life essence is removed and weighed upon a set of scales. The weight of your past experiences are being weighed against that of a single feather. If by chance your heart weighs more than the feather, it means that your life was filled with more bad deeds than good deeds, and you were destined for being devoured by an immortal devourer of souls. You know?
That's great, isn't it?
That's his only job.
Are there people that still follow this religion? I feel like most Egyptians have converted to Islam. I don't know if you know anything about that or not.
I don't know, but I'm sure there's people that follow it. There are people, like I said, 4,200 religions.
I mean,
everybody's following something.
I think there has to be some people. Like, think about it. I mean, it's like maybe we don't hear about it simply because we're not. Like, we hear about Western pagans, right? Who follow old gods from Celtic belief or Norse mythology and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, so.
If your soul, heart, or whatever you want to call it is more or less balanced, or were on the lighter end, and the feather allowed it to move, the feather weighed more, I should say, you were allowed to go to Aru, or the fields of the reeds. I'm assuming that's their heaven. Yeah. It doesn't involve any immortal devouring of your soul.
Kind of reminds me of the proverbial Elysian fields of Greek mythology.
I'm going to take a 38-second break. You guys hold it together.
Copy.
38 seconds.
That's exactly how long it... It's a dirty word. I wonder how smoky it gets on the camera. I feel like it's going to get a little smoky.
You need like a big long table in here.
That's what I want, is I want to get a long table.
Yeah.
Because I think it would be more copacetic to the situation.
Yeah, and then maybe you could have like the
That's
camera
why, remember when I asked if your truck was operational?
Yeah.
I was going to buy a table from a dude who lived in Greenville.
It's about fixed, so he just texted me yesterday.
Okay.
He was behind. It took him fucking like 3 weeks, man. I told you, like, he's about to come get it today. And he kept texting me, like, I'm busy. He's like, I'm busy. Then he texted me like 2 weeks later, was like, I forgot about you, or I didn't forget about you. And he came and got it last week. Yeah, and he texted me 2 days ago and told me that...
yeah, I want a long table because I feel like we spread us out just a little bit, but at the same time, keep us on the same level. You know what I mean?
I think it'd be cool. And then, like, whenever you have, like, guests, you can reposition the camera to where it's at the end. You can have the guests sit across from you guys.
Yeah.
Or I don't know.
That'd be cool.
So we could, like, talk face to face.
Okay.
I don't know. I'm tripping, maybe.
Well, the next one...
Just trying to envision.
The next one I looked around at was Hinduism.
Okay.
Which I basically found out...
I think Hinduism's pretty cool.
It's cool because basically what I found out is like, it's... You got to think of it in the sense where it was multiple different groups having their own deities and stuff that ultimately, like, conglomerated together under one roof.
I mean, it still is because, I mean, you have,
and that's the thing, though. Like, there's no...
Krishnas and Vishnus, and I mean, they all have, like...
There's no central... like hub, of God. Yeah. There's no central hub of Hinduism. It's,
these things?
It's like culture and religion merged.
These things, when in their origin, are they regional?
Well, they're regional. Like, we're talking about regional gods, right? Different, and I'm saying this in the not the bad way, but the good way. Different cults, right?
I mean, it's all a cult.
Well,
we've established that before.
And there is a difference between what I'm referring to when it comes to cult here and cult, like, you know, the
modern day cult.
Heaven's Day cult.
Heaven's
Gate.
You know?
Was it Heaven's Gate? Heaven's Gate cult. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, you know, and of course they believe, I don't know if most of us know this already without Hinduism, but they believe in reincarnation.
Mm-hmm.
That you're in a follicular pattern of continuing to die and be reborn as different things.
Higher,
on all the levels of, like, existence.
Is it higher or lower based on your previous life?
Karma.
Okay, then.
That's where karma comes in.
Shout out karma.
If you're a fucking dirty piece of shit, you're
like Jeffrey Epstein.
Yeah,
or most of the politicians.
Yeah.
Right?
They're going to come back as the lowest forms of life possible. And like, I don't know how many times, but as many times as it takes for them to be punished for what they did.
They need to slip on over into the Egypt side and get eaten by that soul.
What do they call it?
It's also why they're vegetarians, because
once you reach that point to where you don't come back, I can't remember what it's called.
let me see.
Moksha, maybe.
Look at you.
Something like that.
Holding knowledge. You know?
Moksha is maybe like part of karma. I can't remember.
But you basically, that's like part of the reason why they're vegetarian, because like, think about it. You wouldn't want to, eat your grandma.
I'm not sure if it's the same religion, but it based in karma, and it was an Eastern religion. Some of these monks that are the super devout, they actually like roll everywhere they go because they don't want to step on a bug.
I think I've seen that before.
Roll.
Yeah, like they get on the ground and they roll slowly. Make sure, because it's equal weight distribution. Less likely to kill an insect.
Nice.
Yeah.
Don't drive a car.
Yeah, but, not much on Hinduism, just that notion that their version of the afterlife, there really is an afterlife. You just continue to cycle through.
The afterlife is your next experience in this realm.
Yeah.
Okay, then. I don't know what you got there.
Yeah.
This one, we've talked about before, the Children of God. Since rebranded, now the Family International.
What is this all about?
Oh, my God.
You're about to learn, boy.
Listen, hey, anybody that wants to go back in the back catalog, we did a whole episode about them.
You know how we shit on pedophiles all the time?
Yeah.
Well, that's what we're about to do again.
Yeah.
Is this like a Christianity thing?
Yeah, it's basically, hold on. It's Christianity with the healthy amount of child rape. And they like to envision, they sit around in a circle.
Like the Romans?
Yeah. Shout out boy lovers. Yeah. It was called pedestry back then. They had more polish. But basically, their church, they sit around and they masturbate or they have sex. And while they're doing that, they have to envision Jesus watching and him also doing the thing. Looking upon you with favor. God the Father's a pimp. Mary was a prostitute.
This is real?
Now you got it. Yep.
Yeah.
If you watch that Tony Robbins thing on Netflix, not a sponsor, it's called I'm Not a Guru. I'm Not Your Guru. He has one of the people from Children of God come to his thing.
Yeah, they had this thing where they'd send their women out as proselytizers, right?
With their pussies.
Yeah, and they would
mouse and
buttholes. They called it flirty fishing. And they would indoctrinate people with sex. Like they would ensnare young men into the organization by sending out their women to be whores
for Jesus. And God the Father the pimp.
And then once you raw dog one of these women that are part of this cult, then you are initiated into the cult.
Well, I mean, I'm sure it's a much longer process than that. But I mean, think about it. If you're a young man and you're just getting all the free sex you want. Like, and then they start talking about some crazy shit, and you're just like, I really don't give a fuck.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and then next thing you know, you're kind of like one of the heads, and you're like...
Next thing you know, you're having kids, and you're teaching kids the ways that you were taught, Like a piece of shit pedophile. Anyway, Here we go. Children of God started in 1968 as a small group of runaway teens and hippies who, under the direction of Berg, a charismatic evangelical preacher... devoted themselves to the worship of Jesus Christ and promiscuous sex. According to the New York Attorney General's office, the report documented Berg's proclivity for incest, and witnesses testified that child rape was used as an excuse to increase the tribe, leading to many teenage pregnancies in various communes. A 14-year-old runaway who spent 9 days at a COG commune testified that she was raped and, because of her refusal to cooperate with the elders, was held in solitary confinement on no less than 3 separate occasions, the report states. The late actor River Phoenix, who grew up in the Children of God, told Details magazine in 1991 that he was 4 when he had his first sexual experience. While in the group, Young says he never personally experienced sexual abuse from members of the church, but witnessed it. So this guy believes that because he had sex at 4, that wasn't abuse. That kind of puts you where his mindset is.
Well, River Phoenix is also dead, so...
Okay.
But his brother's still much alive, and it makes me wonder about him. It's Joaquin Phoenix.
What was he up to? Why is he such a good actor? Because he can't be himself. He's got to be other people.
You know what's funny is he actually was in a really good movie about one of the... It's not about, but it was...
He was in that...
It's based on one of the religions I'm about to talk about here in a few minutes.
What movie was he in?
River Phoenix? Remember Stand By Me?
Yeah, he was one of the kids in that, right?
Yeah, he was the tough kid.
Is that a Stephen King movie?
It was a
Stephen King book.
It was a story called The Body, which became Stand By Me. So
it all goes back to 19 here lately.
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, he was 4 when he first had sex, but he never experienced any sexual abuse.
Okay, then.
So that's the same sentence.
Yeah.
Close friends of mine growing up were abused and raped, though. Their view of the afterlife is basically boiled down to this. You do what the church elders tell you to do, and you live your life masturbating and getting taken advantage of while visualizing Jesus, viewing these things with approval, and accept that God the Father is a pimp, or you will burn in hell. You could also become a fervent missionary, putting all the sex work aside, putting in all that oral work, you know, and live an eternal life in the slums of heaven. Okay? So that's your second option. You can spread the word, or you can spread them butt cheeks. You little bitch. Little bitch. So if you're just a missionary, you get to live in the slums of heaven, which is just a slight bit better than hell. And I'm pretty sure Tupac wasn't involved in this Caucasian child rape fuck shit. However, last night when I was thinking about this and I read these notes, I wanted to shout out the song, but I couldn't think of it. So I messaged the one and only Long Dong Tong.
Oh, okay.
And he fired back with it immediately. The song was called, just lost my place, Thug's Mansion. So listen to that if you want some extra, you know, feel for the children of God.
Copy.
Anyway, that's all I got. So that's pretty lazy thinking.
Is it still a thing, or?
Yeah.
I think it was just more or less for them to have an excuse to have sex with children.
They got busted. I forget. You'd have to listen to the show. I don't remember. Once we put a show out, it's like I divorced myself from all the
information.
Yeah. It's a good way to get it out of my fucking head. But I think that there was some sort of litigation. People got charged, put in prison.
Yeah.
And then they rebranded as the Family International, and they're still around.
But the next one I did was Taoism.
Oh, man.
Taoism is from China originally.
Super good.
I like Taoism a lot because it's a matter of balance, and it's a way to, like, basically the logic being with Taoism is that even if there are bad things that are happening to you, that is a part of what's supposed to happen in the first place. Like, good and bad, they're all part of that experience. They're as a whole.
To teach you a lesson.
Well, even not necessarily to teach you a lesson. It's just a part of what it is.
Oh, I see.
Like, you can't, it's inevitable, you know, because that's why it symbols the yin and yang.
Yeah.
You know.
To keep balance.
Exactly.
You wouldn't want to have, basically, you can't enjoy the good without the bad.
Yeah, there you go. And that you should find happiness in the badness.
So when it's cold as fuck here on a Tuesday, next Tuesday it's 54, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Okay. I got you.
Exactly. So their version of the afterlife is it's kind of complicated. They don't really believe in an afterlife, but they do, which kind of goes with the whole good and bad thing, because they think that we're eternal.
Spirits.
And that we, well, not just spirits, but we're just eternal and consciousness and all. And we just, it's just dying. It's just a stage in the cycle. It's not an end to a cycle. It's not a beginning to a cycle. It's just part of the cycle.
Would you say they're the same brand as like thinking we're all a part of the all, as like a divine spark, or we have an individual immortal consciousness? Because the divine spark thing.
Yes. Well, okay. So like basically the notion is that at all times we're part of the Tao, right? Alive, dead, doesn't matter, because you're all part of the Tao anyways. And that kind of goes with your one where you're talking about being all part of the all. Yeah. Right? So it's the same thing. Right. You're literally just part of it at all times.
So when you die, you just get recycled back into it.
Well, yeah, because you're always, you don't get recycled. You were always a part of it anyways. Even here, you're a part of it, according to
what happens when you die?
It's like the Kabbalion, kind of in a way where the all is trying to experience itself in infinite different ways.
Well, and that's the thing with Taoism, though. They don't really try to like glean into what happens in the next part. In the next part, because they don't know.
It's all about now.
Yeah.
So you don't really
finding balance
and respecting the balance now, but understanding that it will continue.
Yeah.
I guess so. What you're trying to say is that there is really no afterlife, because there really was no forelife to begin with. You were always you're always there, and you always will be.
Let me put it in the way that I found the research. It basically said, Taoists believe that we are eternal.
God damn it, Daryl.
Wake up.
Taoists believe that we are eternal, and that the afterlife is just another part of life itself. We are of the Tao, or the way of the natural order of the universe.
30.
When we are alive, and of the Tao, and when we die. We're just part of it.
Yeah, I get it.
I dig that.
Yeah, it's cool. It gives you less, it's less of a control system.
And it reminds me a lot of the Kabbalion, because where they explain, like, they explain the three planes, and they say, we can understand the physical, because this is our physical form, and we understand the mental because that's part of us too. But there's a third plane, the spiritual, that we're also a part of. But we're not going to talk about that one too much because we're not quite sure. We don't have the ability to discern that one yet.
Similar to scientists talking about the fourth dimension, like it's impossible for a third dimensional creature to understand the fourth dimension.
We can't comprehend that plane yet. And I think that's where Taoists kind of leave it too. We're like, but they understand that it's because here's the other thing is like, they don't say it, but you kind of have a feeling for the laws, right? In Taoism, because they're like saying that it's all about balance and it's all of these orders, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what happens after you die because it's all part of the same thing.
Right.
So it's at a continuance.
Yeah. I dig it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Which one did you have next?
Raelians.
Oh, God, these ones were... These guys were... We watched that video on them the other day.
Yeah, just to boil it down, they're basically like a creationist tale for atheists. I think we watched it before, right?
Probably.
So the Raelians, I pulled this straight from rael.org, rail.org, / this shit is a cult, though. For centuries, scholars have been debating the two main possibilities for the origin and meaning of life. Some aspire to a higher philosophical dimension, which they can't find in the theory of evolution, while others dismiss as irrational any reference to an almighty God. But what if another theory, one both rational and philosophical in depth, were to be available? This is what the message proposes. Thousands of years ago, scientists from another planet came here and created all forms of life, including human beings, whom they created in their own image. Shout out the Book of Genesis. And they make reference that this is told in many different religious texts, like the Genesis, where they say, let us make man in our image. Due to their highly
some alien type shit.
Yeah, some ET. Due to their highly advanced technology, they were considered as gods by our primitive ancestors and often referred to as Elohim, which in ancient Hebrew means those who came from the sky. Despite being a plural word, Elohim is mistranslated over time to a singular God reference that appears in modern-day Bibles. Nevertheless, these people who came from the sky, the Elohim, educated humanity through the ages with the help of messengers, also called prophets, with whom they made contact. Each messenger was given a message suitable for a level of understanding of the prevailing time, with the primary purpose of instilling the basic principles of nonviolence and respect. Once humanity reached a sufficient level of scientific understanding, the Elohim decided to make themselves more visible in UFO sightings and to conceive their final message. Rael was given two missions, spreading the last message on Earth and preparing an embassy to welcome the return of the ancestors. So basically, he's trying to legitimize asking for your money.
Well, that, and it just kind of feels like a rip of the Anunnaki for real.
Yeah, basically, this dude was a fucking journalist, right? This, I think I said his name already. Whatever, Rael.
Yeah,
that's his new name. Since speaking to these creatures, he was a journalist of race car driving.
Sweet.
So one day he just had this vision. He saw this bright light in the sky, turned out to be a UFO, and it was an androgynous, goateed individual.
It's a weird video we watched, yeah.
You will come with me for the next 6 days and I will show you all the secrets.
Yeah.
I'll touch your butthole with my alien fingers.
So they want him to preach this evangel. He's the last prophet. He wants him to gain a following, get some monies, currencies, if you will, and build embassy, or embassies plural, for the showcase, the global showcase. The aliens will come here. They will make themselves known. All war will be avoided. Global government. And there's no afterlife. So basically, the ending for their afterlife was, it's the atheist intelligent design theory. It offers a rational solution to the age-old debate between God believers and evolutionists. It's comparable not only to today's scientific discoveries, but also ancient historical accounts of cultures. Basically, you live your life now.
It seems like a bit of a scam.
It's lazy. It's a cult, I think.
Do you think it's a scam?
Yeah, it's
just
a scam.
Trying to make money?
Anytime you ask for somebody's money, you're selling them something.
Well, it's funny. It must have been just some sort of serendipitous thing that you talk about Raelians, and then my next one is Scientology.
Oh, shit.
Yes.
I should also say before we go into Scientology that when we ask for your money at patreon.com/BubsandTubs, it's not a scam.
No, not a scam at all.
We want to make this a full-time venture.
We're not selling you bullshit.
No, we're infotainment. We're not offering you a better afterlife.
Yeah.
We're just trying to keep you woke.
So Scientology.
Man.
You know?
I hope we start getting followed. You ever seen those documentaries where people start talking shit about Scientology and they got dudes following them with...
Yeah,
That'd be sweet.
I feel like we've
Fuck
talked
yeah.
shit about Scientology before,
Hey,
honestly.
David, look at my dick. You
Because
know?
we've definitely talked about L. Ron Hubbard being a pedo.
Yeah.
But,
I mean, you mean he fucked children.
yes.
Basically.
Well, yeah, he had his little, was that Sequest?
Yeah, Sequest. We're going to go out in the ocean and we're going to...
You're going to learn. But,
Oh, shit. Fucking pedophile.
most everybody knows at least a little bit about Scientology already or what it's about.
Fuck you, Tom Cruise.
But basically, what it breaks down to when it comes to their afterlife is that they do believe in, I can't clear my throat, the immortality of an individual soul. They believe in that, right? They believe that we are like just constantly fucking shedding our flesh and becoming spirits and then rejoining a new body again.
Right. Aren't we also held down by spirits of the past that were held in volcanoes?
Well, there's like special soul catchers in the sky that that Lord Xenu put up there so that we couldn't escape.
Keep in mind, L. Ron Hubbard was a shitty science fiction writer.
Yeah, man, listen, I love science fiction. I've read a couple of his science fiction stories and he is just terrible.
Hashtag trash.
Yeah, I mean, I would more rather follow a religion like you said you were reading Philip K. Dick. I would rather, if Philip K. Dick created a religion, I would probably follow that shit because he was fucking on point. Or Ray Bradbury, for that matter.
Anti-Walian, you know?
Yeah. I would definitely read some fucking... I'd be a part of the fucking Bradburians, you know?
I am a worshiper of Dick.
Yeah.
You
or
know?
even Isaac Asimov, for that matter.
Yeah. This motherfucker, though.
Basically, you know, here's the thing. This is the weird thing I found out about Scientology is that they believe in an individual spirit. They don't really try to glean what happens after your spirit, or supposedly, right? We don't know, like, what we know, what we've seen or heard is just hearsay. We're not sure when they get, because, you know, here's the thing. You have to, like, pay to get certain levels and find out certain things about the true nature of everything, right? So a lot of it's hearsay, because anytime somebody, like, comes out and says, this is what it's about, they like get sued to oblivion.
Right, that and they release all the dirt they've got on them.
Yeah.
They make you go through the initiatory...
Because they do these audits.
Auditing.
Where you sit down and you basically hash out all the things that you, like, all the bad things you've done.
Those are like the tartans, right?
Yeah,
like
and
bad things.
They record these audits.
Yeah.
And if you try to, like, expose them later, they just, like...
Oh, shit.
But they're like,
look at all this.
Look what you did, bitch.
The audit is
You can't listen to this guy because he jerked off with his cousin once.
Yeah.
You know?
These bad things that you did so you could go clear, right?
Yeah. Going clear.
So
going clear is
if
like
you will.
basically what exposing all the shit that you've done.
Not a
Yeah.
sponsor.
And then they really expose everything you've done if you fucking turn your back on them.
So basically,
it's a trap.
They don't glean too, like, from what we know, they don't glean too much what happens in the afterlife, right?
Right.
And apparently, a lot of Scientologists go to regular churches because of that, because where they don't glean at the lower levels what happens after you die, they have to get that like, you know, good feeling,
that spirit,
that to know that they're in good hands. They have to get it from a regular
so goddamn
church.
silly.
But
I got two quick shout outs real quick
yeah.
in the middle of all this. If you want to go to YouTube and look up anything that's happened to, what was that chick's name that was she was in one of those shows about, she was like the smarmy wife, can't think of her name, she's been on Joe Rogan a couple times.
David's wife or something.
It's like, fuck, I can't remember it. Any celebrity basically that has gone against Scientology.
Oh, I know.
She was like trapped or something.
She was in that show with Kevin James, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. What was that called? I don't know. Man, is it bad that I don't remember the name of that show
I don't
anymore?
remember it either.
I've watched it. I didn't watch it all the time, but
I'm sure our description's giving people like...
he was like a UPS driver.
Yeah, and she just shit on him all the time.
Really?
She was way too hot for him.
Was it Lisa? Is her name Lisa?
I don't remember.
He was
Anyway,
a big fat guy.
Look up what they did to her, because she...
Paul Blart Mall Cop.
She was she was raised in the Church of Scientology, and she went against it, and they were like, "Oh, really, bitch?"
Yeah, just look how much of a psychopath Tom Cruise is.
Yeah, that was my second shout out, is to go to YouTube and type in Tom Cruise Scientology. And he's like jumping up and down on couches. He destroyed his ex-wife's career.
Yeah.
He's also a psychopath.
Well, speaking of shout outs to celebrities, you should tell them to look up that video of Anderson Cooper.
Oh my god, what do you think of that one?
Having a fucking like clone spaz
oh,
out.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
he was a malfunctioning robot there for a minute.
That was on like Eyes of QAnon on Twitter or some shit. I saw it as it popped up as a notification, and it was like broken clone ? And I'm watching it, and I don't know her fucking name. No one does because she's not important. No one watches
Is it
CNN.
Piero?
I don't know.
She's on Fox.
It was a CNN show.
Oh, okay.
Anderson Cooper 360 or whatever.
Oh, okay.
But she's giving this introduction to their show about how it's unscripted and it's fucking hard hitting and all this shit. And then they got the camera on fucking Anderson Cooper and he's going,
Yeah.
making these weird ass faces. He's like,
His eyes are like rolling back in his head. And
his
shit.
rim driven clone had decided to take a shit at that moment. Sorry, so I'm done taking the wheels of your Scientology speech.
Well, I was pretty much done with it. I mean,
Oh, okay.
we went over the basics. It's a scam.
It's a cult.
It wants to be a cult so bad, but it's like a corporate cult.
Hasn't it
you
been
know?
banned from Germany because they have a bad history of cults?
Well, I mean, they have a bad history of people getting indoctrinated into bad organizations.
Like what?
You
The one
know,
that shall not be named.
Shout out Nazis.
you know the one with the
Actual Nazis, too.
the backward swastika. You know,
Yeah. All that. My last one was the Gnostics, and I wrote a lot about it because it's my favorite.
Well, we like the Gnostics too, though.
Yeah, it's my personal. So anybody listening that is new to the show, this is my lean. So if it seems one-sided, that's because it is. The Gnostics' basic belief was asserted that an individual could know God directly through an experience of divine insight called, in Greek, gnosis. This awareness, the light of deity is within us, took away all fear of death, much as initiation into the ancient mystery schools did, and as near-death experiences are reported to do today. This experience also opened the eyes of these mystics to a profound and disturbing truth. No benevolent God could have created this world, because of so much suffering by the innocent. According to the Gnostic mythology, it came about by a cosmic accident involving a flawed creator known as the Demiurge, something that was created, a direct parallel to the Stephen King universe, in the Prim, if you will, the creation before humanity. One of these lesser, or it's still godly in nature, but it's flawed.
Yeah.
It sought itself, the Demiurge sought itself as the creator, better than the creator. You see this in Genesis where they make reference to Satan or whatever, that he actually put up two mirrors around God's, or the All's creation, and then we're in the soul trap. Mm-hmm. He took our part of divine spark and put us in this prison.
Well, he encapsulated our divine spark in this flesh form.
Shout out Saturn. Shout out the moon is a hologram. So, is there evidence that the human personality survives death in the Gnostic belief? The Gnostic seers agreed that there was a realm called Pleroma, where the Gnostics, where at least some would be in the presence of the divine after death. They taught that people were of three types: the Hylics, those are the most worldly; the Psychics, those striving for betterment of the psyche, being Greek for the mind; and the Pneumatics, the fully spiritual. Some teachers asserted that people were fated to remain in these categories, but that viewpoint was influenced by popular notions of being ruled by the stars, or that God had predestined those he created. Other Gnostic teachers preached that eventually all beings, even the demiurge, will be redeemed. Which is another reference to Christianity.
Yeah.
They were actually like the first Christians, or one of the first.
They were one of the first, and I think it goes to say that they were onto something. But at the same time, the fact that they were snuffed out of existence because of when they started to merge these churches together under one, house of power.
Right. The old world order.
Them snuffing them out is just true to sign that they were onto something that would have revolutionized how people thought.
A lot of their writings suggest that the Old and New Testaments are not reliable guides to an afterlife or any aspect of theology. They are full of major contradictions, with confusion compounded by poor translations, late traditions imposed on interpreting the texts that are clearly wrong, and the dogmas of modern Judaism and Christianity. Since the Gnostic teachers were in disagreement on all but the primary analysis that embodiment was not the doing of the true God, I have turned to modern science, logic, reports of mystics, and near-death experiences to gain insight for what happens when humans die. And that was the article I read about it. So
okay.
Basically, I like it.
Yeah. Well, you're not going to like the last one.
What's that?
Last one, I'm not trying to offend anybody.
I can't wait.
Because I do know a couple of people that are a part of this group. Just know that we don't have to agree on everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
But the last one is a sect of Christianity that it has some problems because a lot of our modern Christian cults and death cults and stuff that have come about, including Jonestown and a couple other, Waco.
Yeah.
They were offshoots of this sect, and that is the Seventh-day Adventists.
Right.
Seventh-day Adventists, basically, if you want to know, like, when it comes to the afterlife, until Christ comes.
Make some good cereal. I know that.
Do they? What, Seventh-day Adventist? Oh, yeah, I forgot that he was a Seventh-day Adventist.
You guys keep this rolling. I already know where it's going. I'll be back.
Okay, so basically when it comes to Seventh-day Adventists, when you die, because Christ hasn't come back, they believe that you sleep. Like you're in rest, right? You're not conscious of anything. You go down for sleep. They call it sleep. They don't mean you're dead, you're just asleep, right? And because they base that belief off of Ecclesiastes 9:5, which says the dead know nothing, and Theologians 4:13-18, which describes the dead being raised and coming out of their grave at the second coming, right? So they believe that you go to sleep, and then when Christ comes back, you'll be woke back up again.
Right.
And then the same, but that goes for everybody. But the thing is, the wicked will also be raised when. What did it say?
Didn't they used to have a thing where like there for a long stretch they kept saying like, well, next year, Christ is coming next year.
Yeah. Well,
we changed it, and now it's going to be like, this year, and then it's kept like pushing it forward and forward, and then eventually it just kind of.
When it comes to like sects of Christianity, they are definitely they're end times looking forward type. But they're also like, it's like there's an edging version of it because they're like, it's going to happen.
It's going to happen. It's like Jehovah's Witnesses. They're kind of similar, aren't they?
Yeah, but I think they're more passive about everything. You know what I mean? But the thing is that they also believe that that after like the good get resurrected, the wicked will be resurrected again too. The final battle will happen, right? And the thing is that even the wicked can seek redemption in that final conflict because if you don't seek redemption, the last thing after the great beast has been cast into the fire and the lake of fire for all eternity and
the coup de grace, if you
their
will.
big thing is that where a lot of religions talk about how the soul is this immortal part of us, right? Like it moves and it continues a cycle and it never ends. They don't believe in that. They think that ultimately once the end times have happened, once the great battle has happened, the good will get to keep their conscious selves and their soul, right? The wicked will be, what is it? They called it annihilationism. They believe that when you're wicked and you get cast in that fire,
it's over with.
It's over with. You stop being anything. Like
Isn't that similar to Christianity in general, though, with the lake of fire? Eternal burning of the dead?
Well, no. That's an inference. Well, that's the thing, though. Yeah, you're eternally burned, so you're still conscious, right?
Yeah.
You're still you.
You're saying that they get destroyed in 7 days.
They get annihilated.
I see.
There's no eternity.
Everything that's them ceases to be. Yeah, that's what they believe, more or less.
So, like,
when did they come
prior
about?
to the coming, which could be, it's happened 100 times and it keeps getting pushed forward more and more.
Yeah.
Prior to actually coming, and you die, you're just like sleeping.
Yeah, you're in
your
you're
soul
like,
is
it's like, think
sleeping.
of it like a like you're like cryostasis.
Gotcha.
Like until the second coming of Christ, and then the good people are going to get raised up.
In your physical bodies that have turned back to
dust.
Is
this like the one where there's only
you will come out of your grave?
Is this the one where there's only like a certain amount of people that are allowed to be rescued?
You're thinking about the rapture. That's a different. Rapture is part of a different.
Yeah,
I thought that was Jehovah's Witnesses or like.
Well, no, because
Seventh-day
Adventists. I know rapture is.
What he's talking about is I forget the cult of Christianity, but they believe that there's 144,000 people. That are
that's it. I didn't know if it was Seventh-day
Adventists.
Well, I
thought that was someone. I thought that was before it all started. Was the rapture would happen and the best people would get pulled out of the fray.
Yeah, but they don't number it.
I think that
he's talking about like the numbering, like
and that's what I thought it was. I thought it was 144,000 people were going to get raptured.
They used to number it.
I'm sure there's different variances of the rapture too, because that came out.
Rapture isn't something that's just exclusive to Seventh-day Adventists or Jehovah's Witnesses, though. There's a lot of different sects of Christianity that believe in rapture, even though that was something that was made up in the 1800s.
I thought this was maybe like, I want to say that at one point in time they set a number, then they were like,
didn't it come out of Indiana?
Mind, like it's everybody now.
I read that somewhere. No, rapture. Like there was a traveling pastor, and there was a girl who was supposedly a seer, and she talked about the rapture in the 1800s, and she was in Indiana, and they were like, the rapture.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Like, shout out Indiana. Like, you have shitty drug laws, and you created the rapture. Good looking out.
And the KKK.
Hey, shout out Democrat Party.
And we're really bad drivers.
Yeah, they are fucking terrible drivers.
You're terrible. Hey, you Indiana people.
All the
from
states,
Ohio people, you suck.
Of all the states and countries of people I've talked to on the various like Instagram, Snapchat, and all that, I've never talked to anybody from Indiana that I know of.
Okay,
because they are terrible at making contact.
They might be out there somewhere though. Yeah,
we definitely get downloaded in Indiana. That's a fact.
I work with some guys from Indiana. I should pass out some Bones and Tabs cards.
Listen, I'm just saying, like,
yeah.
We're just joking, but
JK, LOL.
The thing is like, oftentimes, like, say I'm like driving with Toby, and she's driving, and I'm just sitting on my phone or whatever, and I notice like we're going excessively slow.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I look up from my phone, like, why are we going so slow? And then I look in front of me and see that the driver from Indiana, because like 99% of the time that's where he's from,
right,
is going like 5 miles under the limit.
He's waiting for the rapture.
Get your life together.
Yeah, he doesn't going too fast when the rapture happens.
Do they not have speed signs in Indiana, or what's up?
I don't even know, man. Have you been to Richmond lately?
Nah, I try not to go to Richmond.
It's a shit show.
Yeah.
Yeah. They have a good Indian restaurant, though.
Yeah, they do.
Never been there.
Speaking of Sikhs.
Yeah, try it out.
What have you?
Yeah.
Try it out.
Yeah, those are Sikhs at the Indian restaurant.
Damn good food.
Hey, buddy. What's up, buddy?
Yeah.
They make some fucking delicious dishes.
Man, I could go for some of that chicken. What is it?
Chicken tikka masala?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's my fave.
Yeah, super good.
My reward card is full. I need to go there.
Fuck yeah.
Time for free shit, son.
But I think that about wraps it up for us, doesn't it?
It was good.
Yeah.
Okay, so what about, like, one more thing before we go?
Oh, okay.
Like, I heard about this thing, some experiment they did where they had some people, like, sitting on a scale when they died. And
yeah, they measured the weight of the soul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you guys think about that?
I don't know if you could weigh something from the fourth dimension, but it's neat. Because they definitely, like, these dudes...
Something about 21...
You're talking about people...
It's 21 grams, isn't it?
Yeah,
they were, what was it? They were terminally ill.
That's sizable.
They signed up for this experiment. They knew they were going to die. They sat in a weighted coffin. They weighed them up until the time they died, and they weighed them again, 21 grams less. Saying that proved the spirit, if you
It's
will.
like almost 3/4 of an ounce of weed.
Well, and that goes back to what you said initially. How can we perceive, even if you're an atheist, you have to admit that there are so many things beyond our ability to comprehend because the tools that we've been given are so primitive.
Yeah.
How are we supposed to know that, like, I like to ascribe to the notion, regardless of all these religions, because I think there's a little bit from all of them that have at least a grain of truth in them.
Yeah.
Except fucking Children of God. They can fuck themselves.
And Scientology.
Yeah.
Suck a dick.
But
Elron, you fucking piece of shit.
But the thing is,
bundle
like,
of sticks.
Most of the ones we talked about, I can attest to an extent. We were talking to somebody the other day, and they were under the firm belief that there's just nothing. You just snuff out. And I was like, here's the thing. I know, this person hates religion. I was like, I know you hate religion.
Yeah, religion, and for
right.
Sure.
I was like, but the thing is
I
like,
can get on board with that.
You don't know that
with hating religion.
I was like, now I can't sit here and tell you what exactly happens because I don't know either.
I feel like religion is a shiny pair of handcuffs that you put on that explains spirituality.
I mean, the way I look at it is
to control
like,
you.
It's all energy, like, and once like you die, where does that energy go?
And I tried to explain that to him. I was like, does all of you exist right here on this plane?
Yeah.
And I don't think he understood what I was saying.
Even the scientists have proven that consciousness isn't in the brain. Like
they can't figure out where that shit comes from.
Right.
I mean, we know that, like, scientists, like, energy cannot be created nor destroyed.
Science.
So, like, where does this energy come from? Like, consciousness is obviously energy. Like, it's not just like
the thing
when you die, it's not just going to go away.
The thing that did it for me with getting rid of any like possibility of the atheistic outcome was like just learning from the Kabbalion, which you can read for free on projectgutenberg.com. The laws. If this was all a chaotic random accident caused by the Big Bang, there would be no law. It would all be chaos. Mm-hmm. There's structure to it. Or if you even go to Google Images and type in the golden ratio in nature, it's a repeatable mathematical equation that happens on the smallest scale to the largest scale.
Everything could be calculated if you knew if you had the tools to be able to calculate it in the first place.
Right.
Down to the last millisecond when the sun was going to burst and die, you would know it if you had the tools to do it in the first place. Ergo, it's not chaotic.
What's crazy too is that this is all probably wrapped inside of a simulation. That's another one. Simulation theory.
But yeah, I would. Like I said, I don't claim to know anything.
No,
you know what I mean.
I mean, we're just teenagers in a space mall playing a game that lasts 15 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like, not what do we know?
Yeah.
You know.
But I think that about wraps it up for us, though.
Yeah.
I'd like to Thank you all for listening. I'd like to thank the doctor for coming on the show.
Thank you for coming.
Hey, you guys should go out and check out our Patreon.
Patreon.com/bones and tubs.
And like I said before, we're not prolasticizing.
No.
We're not trying to sell you any false shit.
We don't know anything about the afterlife. We weren't given any guidebook that you weren't given. However, we do enjoy giving you that infotainment.
Yeah. So, go check out our Patreon if you want to start just $1 a month.
Yeah.
You could check us out over on Instagram and hit us up in the DMs.
Instagram.com/bones and tubs.
You know, talk to us. We like to hear from you.
Yes.
We still have a Facebook.
I get less and less into fuck Facebook, man.
We do, but man, fuck Facebook.
I use it as a net to catch one of the only 2 people that still use that shit.
Yeah. You can check us out on there, or you can check us out on Twitter.
At Bones Tubs, which I'm still learning to use because I'm a papaw.
Hey, if you don't want to give us money on Patreon,
okay, boomer.
You know, you just want to do like a one-time payment, you could always hit us up on Venmo.
Venmo, we got our first payment on... it wasn't Venmo. It was Cash App.
Yeah.
Sorry, we just got our first...
Has anybody give you a Venmo?
What?
Has anybody donated via
No,
Venmo?
we got our first Cash App donation the other day, though.
Yeah.
$10.
Donate
Nice.
From
Venmo,
one of our
just,
favorite boys.
So I can be like, I'm the first one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have Venmo on my phone.
Shoot us like $5,000. It's cool. Whatever. we need a computer in here so we can go straight to D-Live and never fuck with YouTube again.
Yeah.
Like a desktop or what's up?
Yeah, something powerful.
But we'd like to thank you all for listening. We hope you enjoyed the show this week. We hope you have a good week, and we hope to see you next time. And between now and then, enjoy yourself.
Also, check out Blood of the Brave, bloodofthebrave.com, Blood of the Brave on Instagram, Blood of the Brave on Twitter. He's also on Facebook.
There you go.
We love you.
We really do.
I ain't here to talk shop, I'm here to talk cops who crooked and corrupt, who need to be stopped, who aren't afraid to aim, squeeze and release round after round until they put them in sheets. I said any and everywhere they're hitting it, well aware of what they're doing, and no, they don't care. Everything's illegal and nobody's free. We're all tapped to track, yeah, you and me hardwired to tune. They watch in the back room with their cameras on zoom, laughing at me and you. Yeah, go ahead and think it ain't a police state for real, cause the cops got tanks. I got hounds to call out, around to the used, but that ain't a problem until they used on you. I said one false move, you'll be up on the news in the morning and evening, footage of your family weeping. Man down, yeah, they do what they want, and they rule by force and they're out on the hunt. Man down, they put another in the ground. I got tanks and troops headed to your town. Man down, it ain't a game, it's a shame. That's why I don't play, cause they run the game. Man down, yeah, they do what they want, and they rule by force and they're out on the hunt. They say that's the way it is, but it's sick cause the kids deserve more than to live in a world like this. I'm pissed, I'm phased in the rage, and hop from the flash and the bang grenades. I'm burning alive cause I'm burning inside. I'm a man on fire cause another man died. I'm appalled, let's just list them all. I'm sure I'll miss a few, and a few will applaud. They punch kids, shot kids, taste pregnant ladies, taking babies to land, and put cuffs on the hands of veterans. It choked a peacemaker, he broke up a fight and then died a little later. They shot men in the back who were under attack and were caught on film, and they lied about the facts. They protect each other, they're owning the throne, so don't be shocked at all when they break in your home. Man down, yeah, they do what they want, and they rule by force and they're out on the hunt. Man down, they put another in the ground. I got tanks and troops headed to your town. Man down, it ain't a game, it's a shame. That's why I don't play, cause they run the game. Man down, yeah, they do what they want, and they rule by force and they're out on the hunt. It'll get real in a matter of minutes, gone without a sentence, no trial, no witness. Man down, it ain't new, get a clue and just think next time it could have been you. Man down, it ain't new, get a clue and just think next time it could have been you. Man down, it ain't new, get a clue and just think next time it could have been you. It'll get real in a matter of minutes, gone without a sentence, no trial, no witness. Man down, it ain't new, get a clue and just think next time it could have been you. Man down, it ain't new, get a clue and just think next time it could have been you. Man down, it ain't new, get a clue and just think next time it could have been you. All they need is a reason, it don't matter, it's open season.